Don't talk yet. Don't say anything yet. Don't. Shut up.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We got
sir.
her.
Yes, sir. She's here.
We got her, dude.
Chris.
We got her, dude.
Chris.
Yes.
Chris. Look,
Hey.
I brought a wife.
Hi, Marrett.
It's finally the wife episode, huh?
Bonjour. Bonjour.
He let me out of the cage for this one.
Yeah.
Wife episode part
Yeah.
1.
And my wife is here, nephews. Say
Also,
hi to my wife.
It's not a
Say
cage,
hi.
it's a kennel, Marrett.
Yeah.
He
It's
leaves little
humane.
pee pads in there.
It's right next to the dog's kennels. This is Marrett, nephews. Look at
Hey.
her.
There she
She's a
is.
real woman. And
Did
she
everybody-
married me.
Did everybody think that I was made up?
Yeah. Still
Mhm.
kind of up in the air with Chris's wife. What, was she
Mhm.
fucking busy today or something?
Yeah, she's taking care of our child.
Oh.
Ooh, gross.
Oh, welcome back. Season
Mhm.
3, episode
Welcome
2.
snack.
For you and for me. How do you feel
Mhm.
about being here on the podcast, Marette? You've seen every episode?
Twice.
She's seen every episode twice.
And she's heard it through the walls as we've been recording.
She also hears me screaming from the other room, is true, yes. What qualifies you to be on a King of the Hill podcast?
I think you guys said that you needed some feminine energy for this one.
We needed
Yeah.
a feminine phenomenon.
For the record, I did not invite Marette on the podcast. Chris did.
I
I didn't
believe
think she had what it took, nephews. I didn't think she quite had the gas to keep up with this ass.
Brad was like, "Are you sure?" I can ask her, but are you sure?
Chris was like, I think she's got it.
I think she can
So
handle
that
it.
was his idea, and he went, "No."
No, it wasn't my fucking. I know that
Not
you
e-
hate this shit. It's your
not
least
even
favorite
close.
show. She's a King of the Hill hater.
Hmm
That's completely
That's
not
true.
true. Yeah.
She loves all right already.
Yeah. Big all right already fan. And you get that reference, right?
You.
Totally.
All right.
All right already. Well,
Get into it.
we'll get into it. We'll get into the episode. We're here to talk about
Oh.
season 3, episode 2, and they call it Bobby Love. I
Yes.
think the reason that Chris invited Marette on this episode is because this is exactly how Marette and I met.
Hmm Yes, it parallels y'all's love story.
But yeah, we'll get into all of that. But you know what we got to do first, right, Marette?
Hmm
Of course.
What is that?
The intro.
To what?
Oh, we're in the intro.
That was what I meant.
Okay. This is the segment of the show, Marette. It's called This Week in Arlen,
Of course.
where we go through what was going on in the world at the time of this episode's airing. And you know how we always like to kick it off, right? With a peek at the
Brad,
TV guide.
don't mansplain it.
Hey!
Don't mansplain it to her.
She has
She
seen it.
knew.
This episode aired on September 22nd, 1998. Anything standing out to yonder little eye holes on this TV guide right here?
Sex in the
What's-
City with Cindy Crawford?
No, that is Sex
Sex
with
with Cindy
Cindy
Crawford.
Crawford. Yeah, Chris, if you go to slide number 4 here,
I'm
bingo bongo ha
confused.
ta ta. This was a TV special where Cindy
Whoa.
Crawford talks about sex in the 1990s. A 1-hour special
Okay.
hosted by Cindy was a look at sex in America that got, if you'll pardon the expression, limp ratings on
Whoa.
ABC. Yeah.
Boo.
Yeah. Yeah. But sex with Cindy Crawford, don't mind if I do, right?
I mean, she's
Yes,
a
sir. Brutal.
Anything else? Anything else standing out
No,
in here?
So you're either a 1 or a 0. It's not
Yeah,
Let's
no,
see.
yeah, that's our ranking
It's either you
system.
would or you
A
wouldn't.
1 is you would do it, and a 0 is you wouldn't.
It's high praise,
Uh,
actually.
Buffy the
Feel free to use
Vampires.
that at home, nephews.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We're gonna talk about that later.
We got repeats on Buffy. We haven't started new episodes. It's not technically up against King of the Hill yet. But if you look at the next slide, we do have quite a bit of competition
Oh, wait a
going on.
second. What's
You
coming
guys-
on after King of the Hill tonight? A show called Costello. The episode is called Monkey.
Costello.
It's called Monkey Butt.
You
Yeah, I
guys are
didn't look
not
in-
focusing on the guy squeezing into the 5-gallon bucket enough.
Wait, guy squeezing into the 5-gallon bucket?
Guinness World Records.
Oh my God, man squeeze into 5-gallon tank. Jesus Christ. That's
Holy
awesome.
shit.
You want to watch that
See
instead?
that.
I kind of would like to see that. That sounds terrible.
Costello was a 1998 sitcom that aired for one season that got a 4 out of 10 on
Oh, yeah.
IMDb about Sue Costello, an outspoken woman who tells it like it is. I'm out already, dude.
Shit.
She bartends at a bar called the Bulldog,
Mm.
where eccentric regulars like to hang out and drink.
Yes.
And she has a boyfriend named PJ.
And it
PJ
centers on
Monkey
him
Butt.
mostly.
Yeah, it's probably mostly about the guy.
about the
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But up against King of the Hill tonight, there's a lot of heat. So we've got JAG
Mm-hmm.
in the middle, which stands for Judge Advocate General. I don't know if you knew that.
I did
They had
not.
a new episode. They're in the midst of season 4. This was their premiere tonight. We also had the premiere of Home Improvement,
Mm-hmm.
which was huge at this time. They were in their 8th season.
Whoa.
This episode was about Tim's excitement about spending his birthday at a NASCAR rally event.
Oh, hell
And
yeah.
it's all for
Classic.
naught because of the result of plans of a river rafting trip, whatever the fuck
Mhm.
that means. We had Mad About You, which was in its 7th season, Helen Hunt style.
Those two
This
do
was
not
their
look,
premiere.
they do not look mad about each other.
No, not
No.
really.
They look
Yeah.
like they're tolerating each other.
Yeah.
Tolerated it about you.
look at Homeboy's eyes. They're just fucking piercing, dude.
They're
Look at-
dead.
They're kind of shark
Oh my
eyed.
They're
God.
dead
They're very
eyes.
sharky.
Yeah.
Wow.
Winky. Scary.
Yeah. And then we also had season 3, episode 22 of Moesha down there on the WB show.
Yeah.
Oh
this
wait,
is a
no,
tough-
not on the WB show, on UPN show.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Puncha.
This episode was about Moesha going to a slumber party and her father finding out that there was
Oh.
there.
Of course.
Classic 90s
Classic 90s plot.
trope, you know?
What happened to
Mhm.
Brandy? She's
We're
still-
talking about Moesha.
But Brandy wasn't Brandy Moesha?
Is that the actress?
Brandy
I don't know enough about
Norwood? Is
Yeah.
that's Brandy? That's the
Is
Brandy?
it not? Am I just completely off
Moesha,
base
well,
here?
look, is that Brandy? Or is that Moesha?
My glasses on.
Brandy equals Moesha.
Oh,
Chime
I-
in if you know.
I think I'm completely wrong.
No, I think her name is Brandy. It says Moesha, Brandy Norwood,
I
father,
invited you
William
on this
Allen Young.
podcast.
What?
Crossing-
You're supposed to.
Well, how
you're
the
supposed
fuck
to
do
be
you
right.
not know this? Anyway, that's what King of the Hill was up against tonight. In further television news, Chris, earlier this week we had another cliffhanger resolved. Last week we
Oh.
talked about the resolution of King of the Hill's cliffhanger. This
Mhm.
week we have the one after the one where Ross says Rachel
At the altar.
on Friends. Yeah.
Hmm.
I take the
Yeah, famously Chris also said I take thee, Rachel.
Rachel.
He was
Mhm.
quoting Ross at his own wedding.
Yes.
Fucking loser.
I was making
Chris
that
isn't
face.
a Friends guy, but Marrett is. I got Marrett into Friends.
You don't like
Nice.
Friends?
No, he's a hater.
I mean,
You're
I'll
better- you think
enjoy
you're
it if
better
it's
than
He
on.
us?
thinks he's better than us. Wow.
Yeah.
What
Yeah. I just.
Wow.
No, it's fine.
Moving on then, Chris.
Wait, how did it resolve? Give me the spoilers. What happened?
So yeah, he says the wrong fucking name at the wedding. The episode is mostly about Monica and Chandler fucking.
Yeah,
Other-
and
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
Rachel goes on Ross's honeymoon.
Yeah,
Hmm.
without anyone. She just goes alone on Ross's honeymoon.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
That's fun. That's kind of
Honestly, it
badass.
sounds like she won.
Little slaycation.
Yeah.
Total
She came
Jen
back,
Aniston
she came back
move.
with like the like braids that people used to get at the beach.
Oh,
Wasn't that
mhm.
didn't that happen to
Like-
Monica? That was a Monica thing.
No, she had a braid. She had a braid.
She had a braid.
She had
She
a
had the
saucy
braids.
little
I'm
braid.
gonna fact check that.
She went to Greece. Got a little
Screenshot. She got braids in Greece.
She did.
Those Greco-Roman
She got those
braids.
Greasy braids.
Okay, man. Tone it down.
What
Moving
else
on,
we got?
Saturday night. The season of Saturday Night Live had not premiered yet, but they aired a special called "The Bad Boys of SNL." And these
Mm.
bad boys in question are Adam Sandler, David Spade, and Rob Schneider,
So
And
and
hot.
Chris
Chris
Rock.
Rock and Chris Farley. Dot dot dot.
Yeah, R.I.P. He had died
Yes.
recently, actually. We talked about
Mm-hmm.
it
We
last
did.
season on
We
the
did.
segment. So it was recent passing of Farley. This was also after they had fired Adam Sandler, which is
Mm.
weird that they're like releasing a special like, hey, here's all the greatest hits of the dude that we
Well, he was a
just
bad
canned.
boy.
Yeah,
He
he's
got
too
Yeah.
much of
fired.
a bad boy. The
Yeah.
Opera Man was too
Too
cool.
edgy.
Three
Yeah.
three out of four of these actors still holding up.
Which ones?
Uh,
So Chris Rock just got
Spade,
fucking
Rock, and
slapped in
Sandler.
the face.
Hmm.
Spade's not doing well at all.
No,
We could probably get him on this fucking podcast.
he's still doing. He's
I mean,
got
if
his
we
own
can get
podcast.
Hild over here,
Yeah.
we can definitely
I
get
could I could
Spade.
pull Spade.
She could pull Spade.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Call him up.
But
Uh,
the new season of SNL would premiere, I believe, the following week, featuring Will Ferrell, Tim Meadows,
mm,
Tracy Morgan, Molly
wow.
Shannon, and then featured players new for this season: Jimmy Fallon, Chris Parnell, and Horatio Sands.
Hot
Wow.
take.
What an
Hot
era.
take. Moret's got a hot take. Are you ready for it?
Bring it in.
Jimmy Fallon was terrible on SNL.
Ooh.
That is a
Ooh.
lukewarm take at
It's not a lukewarm
best.
take.
Nobody
Spicy,
liked Jimmy
boiling
Fallon
hot
on
take.
this. I also hated Jimmy Fallon on SNL, and I do hope he sees this.
He does. He
I'll
watches.
talk to him about it. Don't worry.
Yeah, she could pull Fallon. Moving right along, we had a new episode of The Simpsons this week. I will brush through it pretty quickly because it's a pretty mid episode. In this one, Bart kills a bird, um, and feels
Oh,
bad about it, and then takes care of the bird's eggs, and they end up being an invasive species of lizard.
Were
So
they
nice.
like
That's funny.
playing with the idea of Bart being a serial killer?
Maybe.
Just like exhibiting
Yeah, he was
certain
hanging out with
behavior?
Nelson, shooting guns. It was a weird episode.
Is he lighting fires too?
Yeah.
Also, why is Nelson wearing a scarf in that? Does he normally have a scarf?
No, he
He's got a
doesn't normally.
scarf
I
on.
feel like there was some sort of gag around the scarf, man. I don't
Hmm.
know. I really didn't want you to bring up the fucking scarf. We talked about this beforehand.
He asked me not to say anything.
Sorry. Outed.
But moving right past The Simpsons. So we talked about it last week, Chris, that King of the Hill was replaced by That 70s Show in the
Hmm.
Sunday night time slot. King of the Hill is no longer airing after The Simpsons during this season. They moved it to Tuesday night and replaced that time slot with a hot new show called That 70s Show.
Ever
And
heard
this
of
week
it?
we had episode 4, where Eric gets a job at a burger joint and
Hmm.
Donna throws a party.
Nice.
That Donna.
That pesky
She's a
Pinciotti.
she's a bad influence.
She's a baddie.
Yeah.
Hmm. True.
Donna's a one.
Yeah, she's a 1.
Damn.
No, that's good. We just explained that,
Compliment.
bro. Pay attention. 1 is you
Oh.
would, 0 is you wouldn't.
Oh, okay. It's a binary. All right. I
It's
got it.
binary, just like gender. Moving on. Rush Hour came out this week, #1 in the box office, slash
yeah.
our hearts.
I fucking
Absolutely
love that
classic.
movie.
It's so
Yes.
good. Do you understand the
Hour's so
words that are
good.
coming out of my mouth? And then in the second movie, they do that line again, but Jackie Chan
Mhm.
says it instead of fucking Chris
Mhm.
Tucker. It's so funny.
Yes, dude.
Remember the scene where they're on the Eiffel Tower, they're
Hmm.
fighting, and was that Rush Hour 3?
I think so.
We should watch the Rush Hour movies.
Cut that. Cut that. Rush Hour 3. Yeah, we could do that. A little mini-sode. Man, Jackie
No,
Chan
I just
was
meant like together, like as friends.
that's for fun.
You guys
What
don't
an
talk outside of this though, do you?
We hate
No.
each other.
Mm-mm. No. That's why I had to invite Marrett on. Brad wouldn't do it.
Yeah, as a mediary.
I'm so uncomfortable.
Jackie Chan
Uh,
was staple of
yeah.
late 90s.
Yeah.
Truly.
This was kind of his Hollywood break.
Hmm.
This was really where
Mhm.
Chan launched. Did you watch the Jackie Chan Adventures, the cartoon?
Hmm.
Yes.
Holy shit, that show was awesome.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
show was great.
It was so good. And Jackie Chan actually played himself in it.
Yeah.
Crazy. WB, right?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. Shout out to Jackie Chan and shout out to Steven Tyler and
Oh.
Aerosmith because the number one song in the country this week was And I Don't Wanna Miss a Thing from Armageddon.
Even
That's what
when
that
I
song was
dream
written
of you.
for.
I've already told you this, but when I was growing up, one of my dad's best
Oh, yeah.
friends was Steven Tyler's cousin.
Mm.
Mary Tyler
And
Moore.
in their house, there were just family photos, like extended family photos, and it was just like
Mm-hmm.
normal people and then fucking Steven Tyler in the middle of it. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
hilarious.
Steven
Um,
Tyler famously married a child too in the
mm,
80s.
Everyone was doing it.
He took over custody so that he could bring her
mhm.
on tour with him and then married her.
Weird stuff. He was also on that lip filler gang a lot sooner than all these other girlies
Mhm.
were. I
Yeah.
mean, look at
He had
those
that
I thought you
pouch.
said
luscious.
Liv Tyler,
No,
not Lip.
lip filler. They're so
Liv
plump and
Tyler, she's a
juicy.
one.
Hmm.
One.
She could get it.
Steven Tyler, 0?
Yeah.
Did I do
Yeah.
that right?
He
You
just
did
kind
it.
of looks like he should have an STD named after him, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah. Moving on in birthday news, it was Malfoy's 10th
Oh,
B-Day on
shout
this
out to
day.
shout out to Tom Felton.
Yeah.
He
He
listens.
had probably close to getting cast in Harry Potter at this point, right?
Just
Late
about, yeah.
90s.
Yep.
Maybe he already was. Maybe that was already in the works.
Perfect casting.
Really was.
Yeah. And he's such a sweet boy. And he
Yeah,
played Malfoy
Yeah.
so well.
truly.
I love Harry Potter.
Also,
Y'all already know this.
Wow, canceled. The Goo Goos dropped in more music news. The Goo Goo Dolls released their album Dizzy Up the Girl, featuring the song Slide.
Hmm.
How does that one
I
go?
haven't heard
Mm.
of it.
I thought I only want to be with you.
No.
A-E-I-O-U.
How does Slide go?
It's kind of similar. Yeah,
Something like
yeah,
that. Yeah, it's
yeah.
just only want to be with you.
Darius Rucker fronts the Goo
Darius
Goo
Rucker's a
Dolls.
fucking one.
Oh, 100%, dude. He's caked
He
up. Have
can
you
get
seen
it.
that
He
man?
can get it, brother. How do you
Creepy.
feel about the Goo Goo Dolls, Chris?
Their music is nice. Their name makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, this album
It's
cover makes me feel a little uncomfortable.
it's the goo goo part of it. Um,
Goo.
goo.
Yeah, yeah, I feel that. But they were huge at this point. They had just released Iris. That was the song also for a
Mhm.
movie.
Yep,
We
we
talked
talked
about
about
it. What
that.
movie was that for? Wasn't Armageddon?
No,
What was
Like
it
a
for?
was it a
I can't
rom-com?
remember.
No.
It was
I'll
something
put it up on
serious.
screen. We don't have
Yeah.
fucking time for that. You know how I always like to end this slideshow, Chris, with a little bit of death.
Mm-mm.
Flojo died
Oh no.
Oh.
the day before
Did
this.
she really?
Florence Griffith Joyner.
How did she die?
She had an epileptic
Oh
seizure
my God.
Oh
and
no.
she croaked at the
I
age of
did not
like 30 something. Yeah.
I did not know that about her. I know she like kind of started like our kind of track phenomenon, like
Yeah,
superiority.
she like broke a
Yeah.
bunch of records in the
Hmm.
80s in track and field. She was like a Nike athlete,
I think she
right?
just always had fucking looks.
Yeah, she was
Yes.
known for her steez and her
Yeah,
style.
nails.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
she missed this episode of King of the Hill
Brutal.
because
Ripped to a goat.
she died.
Tragic. Yeah.
Ripped to a
So
goat.
that'll do it. Sorry, I didn't mean to be insensitive to FloJo and her estate. If you're listening to this, my deepest condolences.
Senses.
You guys want to talk about King of the Hill now?
Crank
Get
the
into
mower
this
up.
little episode here. Crank up the mower.
Crank her up.
Brett, we always like to ask our guest what their experiences with King of the Hill, how they know the show, if they were a fan of the show growing up.
I didn't watch it a lot. I honestly don't think that I got it when I was younger.
But Marrett grew up just like you, Chris, in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Close.
I just
Son of
don't
a
think
bitch.
I like caught the satire when I was younger,
Hmm.
Yeah.
but now I find it hilarious.
You do.
Nice.
Yeah, it's so accurate
Yeah, sick.
Nice.
to
Hell
Edmund.
yeah. And of
Yeah,
course, you just,
would you say also that it's accurate to Edmond, Oklahoma, Chris?
Mhm.
I wouldn't have any frame of reference. Um,
Sure.
nice. Hell yeah, dude. Let's get into it. Your blurb
He's
for
so
this one.
mad.
Uh,
Why are you breathing so
like,
heavy?
God, dude.
I'm not from Edmond. Um, whew. Season 3, Season 3,
Season
episode
three,
2,
episode two.
and they call it Bobby Love. Airing on 9/22/98. Your blurb for this is Bobby falls head over heels for a classmate. Hank and his friends discover an abandoned couch in the alley where they normally stand and drink beer, which basically describes all that's going to happen in the episode.
It really does, but I loved the couch gag
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
so
Yes.
much.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
was that a nod to The Simpsons? Because it looked just like The Simpsons couch.
It was a different
Mm,
color.
Isn't it?
maybe.
It was red, right?
Oh, there's red.
Simpsons couch is red.
You're
Hmm.
super colorblind. I can't
Get out of
rely
my
on your
Yeah.
memory for
house.
Are,
that.
are we color
Yeah.
Somebody
gaslighting Brad
cross-check
again?
this.
Yeah, I might be totally wrong on
Um,
that, but I will put up a comparison.
mm. Wow, look at the couches.
Oh my gosh.
Was I
Dir-
right?
I never knew.
Director for this is Wes Archer and Cindy Tang. We've talked about her before. She's going to go on to direct 18 episodes of King of the Hill. Before this, she directed The Unbearable Blindness of Laying, as well as Junkie Business, some favorites from season 2. Writers here are Judge Daniels and Norm Hiscock. We've talked about we've
It's
talked
awesome.
we've talked about we've talked about his cock before. Yeah, he did writer for Parks and Rec, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I think he wrote like 60 episodes on SNL, or he's credited as like 60 episodes writing SNL. So yeah, his cock is
Hmm.
writing this one.
That's what he had to develop a sense of humor.
Yeah,
Hmm.
with a
With
name
with a,
like his cock.
with a name like Norm. Um, Opening scene, Tom Landry Middle School. Bobby is running late. He gets stopped by the hall monitor. Um, our hall monitor here is our first guest star.
Oh, we got a
Our
guest
guest,
star.
yeah,
I
you
did
didn't
not
know.
look this up. I don't
Okay,
know who this
so
is.
playing the guest star or playing hall monitor Marie in this episode is Sarah Michelle Gellar,
No
aka
way.
Buffy, dude. Their new
aka Buffy.
competition. She kind of
Mhm.
the animation of the character kind of looks like Sarah Michelle
Mhm.
Gellar too.
Yeah.
Wow.
it does.
I didn't know that. It felt like it was someone famous.
Right.
Wow. That's
Yep,
awesome.
was.
That's a
That's why I
huge
said we were
pull.
going to talk
Yeah.
about Buffy.
Damn. The
Yeah,
foreshadowing on this guy.
Sarah Michelle Gellar. Yeah, famously she's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Famously she's in Scream 2. She's in I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Well, she's only in Scream 2 for a little while.
Mhm.
Spoiler alert, nephews. She gets killed pretty early on.
She's also in Cruel Intentions. She's in the super cool live action Scooby-Doo movie.
Oh yeah,
That's
those
what I
are
was
She-
classic.
Mhm.
That's where we all know her from.
So fun fact, she's also married to Freddie Prinze Jr.,
Who
He
plays
was also in the
Freddy,
Scooby
and
Plays
his
movie.
name
Fred.
is Freddy, and he played Freddy in the Scooby-Doo movies. It's almost like it was meant to be.
Yeah. We also, I think last episode, Brad talked about Small Soldiers.
We did. Yeah, that came
She
out
vo-
prior
she
week.
voices one of the toys in Small Soldiers.
I didn't know that. Which one?
I can't remember. It's some cheesy name. I didn't
It
write
was
down
one of the
characters' names.
Argonauts, right?
Yeah, probably.
Wow.
So, anyways, Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to play Marie in this episode.
She's a
but Bobby,
cool older girl.
who wears overalls. Um,
That's
so
how you know she's older.
Bobby, Bobby is running late and he gets stopped by Marie, and Bobby essentially kind of humors his way out of getting in trouble. She's like, "Do you have a hall pass?" And he's like, "No, I don't. My name is, Ramon Tavares."
I
And
love
she's like,
that.
"Why does it say Bobby on your lunch bag?" And he's like, "Because I couldn't spell Ramon."
And then
Uh,
he couldn't remember the last name that he literally just said.
And then
Yeah.
as he's walking away, she goes, Bobby Hill, and he says, yeah, and she's like, oh, you're good. So it's a real
That was
cute,
cute.
it's a
Yeah.
real nice meet cute in the beginning here.
Yeah,
Um,
but also very obvious that like he's just kind of like the funny fat kid,
mhm.
and
I
like
don't think he's
she,
meaning to be funny though.
well,
He's,
yeah, and that's
I
kind of a
don't think he
through
was
line in the
trying.
episode is he
Yeah.
keeps doing shit and they're all laughing at it, and he's like,
He's like,
it's
oh,
yeah,
that's all.
there's
Hmm.
it's just adult humor, you know. But I can relate a lot to Bobby in this episode
Yeah.
as
Uh,
a former funny fat kid, now just a funny thin hot
One.
colorblind
cool,
guy,
yeah.
Canadian. Um, pretty sh pretty short opening scene here, but then we cut over to the alley where the titular couch has been dumped. Um, the guys are all wondering how the couch got there. Dale brings up a conspiracy theory. He thinks that a firefighting plane scooped it up out of Lake Arlen, and Boomhauer's like, "That's just an urban legend." And he goes on to ramble about that toothbrush up a man's bottom, and then
Oh, I didn't catch that.
he goes on to ramble and say, "Dang ol' happened to me." So
Damn.
apparently in Arlen, there's some type of urban legend about a guy getting a toothbrush stuck up his butt, and Boomhauer it happened to him, I guess. You didn't catch that one? I
And
thought it was
somehow
so
that
good.
connects to a couch being
I
pulled
was
out of a lake.
fixated on
Hmm.
Bill eating the sugar cube that he found on the
Yes.
couch.
That was excellent. He called it
Yes.
treasure, right?
Yeah, it was
Mhm.
treasure.
And Hank is like, if we eat their trash, we're no better than them.
Yeah.
That was very funny. Uh, Hank gets on the phone and he's like, My name is Hank Taxpayer.
Taxpayer.
Come get this
Excellent.
fucking couch.
Yeah.
Uh, and then we hear some other funny quips. I love it, like when you only hear one side of the phone call, and he's
There's a
like,
lot of that in this episode. There's a lot of phone-based humor in this episode.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I don't know if you
Uh,
caught that.
yeah, he's like, there's,
because my spaghetti brain.
um,
But yeah,
yeah,
the one-sided like him saying like there's people who stand in that alley.
we
We
talk
talk.
Yeah, we about what?
sports
I don't know.
mostly.
Sports mostly.
So
I love that.
funny.
We cut back over to the school, and Bobby is making Marie laugh again. He accidentally drops his textbook, and then he accidentally kicks it forward, just like
Classic.
very clumsily, and the girls laugh at that, and he, continues to do it to get a laugh. Um, was very good.
Well, now he's in. He's a part of their kind of a part of their group. He's been welcomed
Yes.
in. And we get my favorite Bobby line that we've
Hmm.
already referenced because it
We
stood out
have.
so much in my mind of him pulling up his pants and going, "What are you talking about?"
What are you talking about? Yes, he
Yeah.
pulls his closer, so to speak. That he first does that bit in season 1, episode 8, Shins of the Father. Go back and watch that if you haven't, folks.
I thought you were telling Marrett.
No, Brett's Brett's seen it. I'm telling the nephews to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, famously the episode that we never released.
Famously, the
That
episode
we
that is up and
recorded.
viewable.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
recorded three separate times
I heard.
But
and it never came out. Yeah.
Bobby's doing
We'll
his
release
gold
it
bit,
someday.
maybe. Um,
Once we
so
hit
yeah,
500,000 subs.
hmm and 500,000 DOMs, then we'll release it. Thank you, Marrett. I think I've made that joke a couple times on this pod.
Yeah, you really have. You
Yep,
really have.
it's all the same. But Marette hadn't heard it yet, so
No, I have. I was just
Yeah,
ignoring
she's
you.
heard every
oh yeah,
episode,
she
remember?
listens, of course. We're back over in the alley, and the guys can't figure out how to stand with the couch there. They're like moving
Yeah, they're
around
struggling.
awkwardly.
They
They're
can't hear
shouting at
each
each
other.
other. Um, Bill decides to take a rest, and that gets the rest of the guys on the couch. Um, it's very funny. Boomhauer is going to be like, "Oh, dang! I'll look up in the air," and
They're like
Boomhauer,
embarrassed.
Yeah.
they're
And then
embarrassed
he
to be
sits
sitting on
down
the
and he
couch.
says Dangle Lucky Pierre,
He says he
which
says
is the second time we've had a reference to Lucky Pierre
he says he
on
ain't
the
no
show.
Lucky Pierre. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Which
Do you remember Lucky Pierre?
well, I know that it was referenced in season 2, the 3 days of the condo episode, which
Mm-hmm.
you remember as well, right,
Of
Marette? We
course,
talked
yes.
Are we
about
gonna
that
go
on
through
the
this the
show.
whole time? Because I know.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well,
Remind us what a Lucky Pierre is, Chris.
Lucky Pierre nephews. is a sex act engaged in by three men. Well, I guess it could be two men and one woman, but anyways, Lucky
Yeah.
Pierre is the middle of the stack, and to be Lucky Pierre, you must be penetrated while you are penetrating. So it's kind of like a
Human
human
centipede
centipede.
style. It's
Yeah.
the
Hmm.
middle in the human
That seems
centipede.
really difficult to
It does.
coordinate.
Does it?
Um, Give it a Google, folks. While
It's
you
only one
still
way to find
can.
out.
Oh, Jesus.
Uh, another fun callback to early seasons, but
Yeah.
we're over at the house, and here comes some more fun phone-based humor.
Yeah.
Marie calls the house and asks for Bobby, and Hank says, "Wrong number."
Immediately
Bob,
hangs up because it's a girl.
Bobby's like, "Who was it, Dad?" And Hank is like, "Somebody asking for someone named Bobby. Like it's not his
Bobby's
son."
like, okay.
Okay. She
Yeah.
calls back and is like, "Does Bobby Hill live there?" And Hank is like, "Bobby, it's one of your friends playing a joke." Like
Playing a joke.
Hank doesn't
Bobby
believe that
answers the
it's a
phone
girl.
and says, "Hey, Joseph." Like he
Hey,
fully
Joseph.
couldn't fathom
Hmm.
a girl calling his house either. Did you guys this is a very 90s thing, obviously, because
Hmm.
all people in middle school and lower have cell phones now. Do you guys have any memory of like a girl or a boy calling your
Hmm.
house?
Oh yeah.
So
Obviously not a
stressful.
lot for me because I
Hmm.
was the funny fat kid, but I remember there was a girl that called and I was in the bath and my mom told
You
her
were in
that
the
It's a good
bath?
yeah,
bath.
my mom told her that I was in the bath.
He was
And then the
splashing
next day
around.
I got made fun of by everybody because it was like Brad was in the fucking bath when I
Sorry, he's
called him.
busy with his toys in the
I
bath.
was playing with my duckies. And by that
And
I mean
his
my penis.
there we go. I was trying to get there. Beat me
Thank
to
you.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
some
I
very
was
funny
beating
phone
myself
based.
to it.
Ayo. The guys after the phone scene, I'm
She
moving
liked
right
it.
past that one. Um, we get a fun little scene of the guys fixing up the couch. They're now fully on board. They've like raised it up on jacks, and Boomhauer's on like the rolling cart. So they're
Yeah.
fixing up the couch. It's a fun little quick scene, but
Well, and Marie called, by the way, to invite Bobby to the mall. That was
mhm,
the reason she
Mm.
called.
yes, he has a prior engagement, but he could tape it. Um,
And that was another instance of her laughing and
Yeah.
him not knowing why,
yeah,
because he was being
why?
serious.
Yeah.
The blackouts. We're over at the aforementioned mall, and Marie is talking about how she's a vegetarian, just won't stop talking about it, like all vegetarians. Um, you guys know about that, and
I fucking knew it. What did I tell you?
It's low
I
hanging
said I
fruit.
know the reason that Chris invited Marrett on is because we're
This is
vegetarian.
classic,
And there's a
like
lot of vegetarian
Texas.
jokes in this.
Like
Edmund,
if you eat
It's Edmund shit.
fish, if you don't,
hmm
well, I don't know, you can tell somebody like, "Oh, I'm vegetarian," and they're like, "But you eat chicken, right?"
hmm
Like
Yeah.
that is just so classic.
Well, she says she's a vegetarian, and then she orders the chopped salad, which I believe doesn't a chopped salad typically have hard-boiled egg in it?
Yeah.
And like bacon.
Well, vegetarians can eat eggs, Chris.
Oh, really?
Didn't say she was vegan, bro.
Shut up about it. Um,
But yeah, I think chopped salad usually has like ham in it, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bobby
But
doesn't.
Bobby fully doesn't understand what she means.
He doesn't get
And
it. She's
he
like,
orders a BLT.
Yeah.
yeah. He says bacon doesn't have a head.
Yeah.
Um,
She says, I don't eat anything with a face. And
mhm.
he's like, well, bacon doesn't have a face. And then they
uh,
don't laugh at that one.
And then he's like, my dad said that if God didn't want us to eat meat, why did he invent steak sauce? Um, and
Which, good point. Steak
the
sauce is kind of busting.
the guy is like, does your dad actually say that? And he's like, once. I thought that was
Yeah,
really
then he
good.
orders a BLT. They're all disgusted, and he changes it to an LT.
Make it an LT. We're walking home from the mall, and Maria's like, uh, well, before we get to the couch, Bobby is like, I was really choking back there at the mall. Don't tell your friends. Or, Marie's like, all my friends think you're so funny, and Bobby's like, I was really joking. Thought that was so
That is,
funny.
yeah, that is funny.
Um, but then yeah, Maria's like, ooh, look, a couch. They sit down, and she's like, Bobby, do you want to kiss? And Bobby just like immediately launches into a ramble about fruit pies.
Yeah, it's
And
the
he,
second episode in a row where they reference Bobby loving fruit pies. And the last
mhm,
one, Bobby goes missing, and they use a fruit pie to allow Lady Bird to lock onto Bobby's scent.
it doesn't work, but they try it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so Bobby's like just starts talking about fruit pies, and Marie just plants one on him, and it absolutely freezes Bobby. Just
Yeah, he makes some really interesting sounds here.
Mhm.
yeah, he's like
Yeah. That's exactly what he
That's
does.
good.
the Goo Goo Dolls.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and we cut to commercial break right there with Bob getting a smooch.
Yep. Not his first kiss.
Not his first
That
kiss,
happened
technically.
in season one with Connie.
Yep. I was gonna say
Yeah.
Plastic
Connie.
plastic white female.
Yeah.
Was that the one where
Hmm.
he falls in love with the head?
Yeah.
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 Yes. Hmm.
Look at
She
her,
We
man.
called that
she
the
has
Like an
seen him.
expert over
She's
here.
got the callbacks. We come to after commercial break, and Bobby is just like absolutely fallen in love already. He's like,
Yeah, my note says Bobby has post nut clarity.
Clarity?
Yeah, post nut clarity? You don't know what that is?
I think he's got pre-nut infatuation.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly
We
it.
just coined a new term, brother.
Yes, I have come.
Not come.
Too soon.
Oh yeah. We should mention that we're recording this after
I'm gonna come.
the country has been taken back.
The country jizzed in our pants.
We're all
Um,
feeling good about it.
hmm We're looking forward to it. That's why I said look up Lucky Pierre while you can. Uh, you're not going to
What
be
do you
able to.
mean?
Those
We're
results
not going to
won't
be able
pop
to
up.
look at porn anymore?
You're not.
Wait,
Gay porn.
what?
Yeah.
What?
Okay.
So it's the next morning, and yeah, Bobby is just absolutely infatuated with Marie. He's like, "Mom, Dad, did you see the sunset this morning? It was the exact color of my girlfriend Marie's hair." And
Yeah, he's laying
Peggy
on
and
the
Hank are just
girlfriend thing really heavy. Yeah.
they're just not listening to him. They're just like not paying attention. Did you catch the nickname that Peggy calls Hank in this scene?
No.
She goes, "Here's your coffee, sweetmeat."
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
She calls him sweetmeat,
gross.
which I thought that was like
Ew.
so gross.
That's
They're
what Marette
Sweetmeat.
calls me.
they're afraid of holding hands, but she calls him sweetmeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you guys are
Well, they're
vegetarians, which makes sense.
sweet tofu.
S-
No, it doesn't have a good ring to
No.
it. Yeah. We'll figure it
Uh,
out.
We're
yeah,
not vegetarians. I don't understand.
We're pescatarians, nephews. Just for
Presbyterians.
And for the record, we will judge anyone who doesn't live the way we do in a very harsh and
Mhm.
open way.
That's very true. If you eat meat, you are a murderer, and we think that you're a bad person.
They send me those texts all the time.
Just to remind
Just
you.
Just remember.
Never forget.
Hank and Peggy just absolutely do not believe that this is a real girlfriend. They're like, it's not made up or somebody from a cereal box, is it?
Well, I love that Peggy says, "All right, Bobby, I'll buy it. Why do
Yeah.
you keep saying girlfriend?"
Yeah.
He's
So
like,
funny.
"Because I have a girlfriend."
But this so
Um,
clearly triggers her.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes.
she's immediately jealous.
Yes. We see Dale's head over the back of the fence, which I thought was really fun. You can kind of see his head moving. He jumps over the fence.
Yeah.
He's like, Hank, the garbage truck is here. The boys run outside to try to save the couch, and Bill is laying on it. And they're like, will you tell him to get off the couch? And they're like, Bill, don't move a muscle. And they can't lift Bill. And they're like, good
He's
job,
got the
Bill.
density of a dying sun. They can't
Yeah.
move him off of that couch. My favorite line delivery in this entire episode is when they're like, someone's just gonna come and take it, like when
Yeah,
you're
don't
not
leave,
here. And
don't
Dale
leave
just
it
goes,
out.
"Go to hell."
Go to hell. Yeah. I loved that. They're so in love with the
Excellent.
couch. We're cutting over to school where Bobby is making some more jokes with the older kids, and Connie is like, that's like not very funny. And Bobby's like, it's adult humor, Connie. I don't even get it sometimes, which is very
Yeah.
funny because he's been funny this episode, but like not trying to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Connie and Joseph are getting kind of annoyed with Bobby, which I thought was a very cute element to this
Well,
episode.
yeah, they're doing kind of that typical thing where it's like, all right, one of the friends now has a significant other, and
Mhm.
now they have to hang out
They
with
just have to like put up with it.
Joseph and Connie.
And it's only what the like love interest wants to
Yeah,
do.
they're like,
Hmm.
we should go ride bikes. Obviously, that's kid shit. That's dumb kid
Hmm.
shit. And she's a cool older girl. What, she's
Yes.
probably what, like eighth grade? Bobby's sixth grade? Is that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
that's
that's
probably right.
pretty big.
Which
That's
I
pretty
have
big.
things to say about that.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
get to it.
we're gonna get her age here in a further scene, but we get a nice quick little in between here conversation of between Dale and Bill. Bill
Another
calls
phone situation.
more phone humor. This time Dale records his phone calls and says
Yeah.
the like disclaimer of recording up front before he says Gribble House, which I thought was very funny.
I really loved the like little break in between them was like a phone
Hmm.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nephew's phones used to have cords on them,
Have
and
you
they were
explained
all,
landlines?
have we explained them?
I don't know. Do you need to?
Do you want to?
I have
All right,
no idea
nephews.
what
I
you
Marette
guys
feel
are
is going to
talking about.
explain. Marette's going to explain what a landline is right now.
Listeners.
Most of them are millennials.
Okay, then we don't need to do this.
We got some Gen Zs in there.
Okay, well, it was like a hardwired phone in your house that was on the wall. And if you were rich, it didn't have a cord.
Yeah.
Did you guys have
Cordless
cords?
ones.
We upgraded eventually.
Yeah.
We
But if
upgraded
you didn't
eventually.
put it
Yeah.
back on the hook, you were fucking dead.
Yes.
Oh yeah. And you had to dial it by moving a little rotary around.
Uh-huh.
And there was a mouthpiece and an earpiece.
Mm-hmm.
And you'd answer,
Hello.
you'd say ahoy hoy. Right?
Hello.
Thanks for that,
Um,
Marette.
Sorry.
Thank you, Brett. Yeah, we're back over in the alley, and Marie and Bobby are walking home from the mall, and Marie's like, "I don't know where your friends went." Bobby was like, "Yeah, they were following us to the mall, and then they just disappeared.
Yeah, they ditched
They
him.
fucking ditched his ass." That was really good. Bobby is like, "Oh, there's the couch. Do you want to kiss?" And Marie's like, "I'm good." And Bobby is gonna uh like guilt trip her into kissing him. He's like, Marie, the other night whenever we kissed, I didn't want to, but you wanted to, so you have to respect my wishes." And Bobby just
You need
totally,
to respect my needs. Like,
yeah,
ugh.
Where did Bobby
yeah,
learn this from?
yeah. This is where the Bobby cringe starts.
Yeah, it's the
Yeah.
little toxic there, Bob.
Yes. Yeah, this is where the Bobby cringe starts. But yeah, they get a kiss, and Marie looks at her watch and then
As she's
has
kissing him.
as she's kissing him and has to go, but Connie is taking out the trash. And
Yeah.
Connie sees Bobby and Marie kissing, and we get a shocked face from Connie. And I thought this was so compelling. I loved Connie in this episode.
Poor Connie.
Yeah, it makes her realize her feelings
Yep.
for Bob now that he's rizzed up and getting
Hmm.
some.
Yeah. But again, Bob is just froze on the couch. Even after Marie has kissed him, he's like, his hands are shaking.
Yeah, he's doing kind of a little. He's broken. Yeah.
He's got the shivers.
Yeah.
Um,
How old were you when you had your first kiss, Chris?
Real
Was it
kiss,
at
I
the
think, was
wedding or
eighth grade? Yeah. Hmm.
eighth grade? Me
The
too.
wedding. Yeah.
Same.
Marette was eighth grade?
I was 13.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wow. Look at us.
Perfect. Nice.
What was his name?
Pierre.
No, I was asking you, Chris.
Oh, yeah, Pierre.
Let's get
Nice. Um, we are back over in the house, and Bobby is talking about stuff that it's dinner. Bobby wants some plain toast and white rice because Marie is a vegetarian. And that kind of kicks off a very funny conversation here around the dinner table. And Bobby's like, well, we both like a lot of the same things, like kissing. And that really sets Peggy off. Peggy is
Yeah.
so upset. And Peggy is like, Hank, talk to him. And Hank is like, Bobby, vegetarians cannot be trusted.
The second he says she's a vegetarian, Hank is like, God, I knew there was a catch.
Mhm.
There
He
had to
says,
be something.
he says we caught one siphoning gas out of a company truck last week.
That's right.
Which did he mean vagrant?
No, he
Vegetarian,
meant
vagrant? I don't
vegetarian.
know.
I also love that that's just like the vegetarian meal in Texas is plain toast and white
It
rice.
legitimately is. The
Yeah.
the amount of brains that I have broken in Texas going into a restaurant and there being only things with meat and
Like,
me
you don't
just
want any
ordering
meat?
sides. Yeah.
Are you sure, hun?
Marette and I famously, I think I think that woman at the Cracker Barrel that
She might be
that we
dead
spoke to,
now.
she might still be standing in that exact spot.
Yeah.
Mm,
She was so confused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cracker Barrel.
Texans
Love
love their meat.
love those rocking chairs. Cracker Barrel reference. Let's go. Um,
Hell yeah.
That'll get us a
s-
sponsorship, bud.
Peggy, I love their little tiny bottles of syrup. Peggy is upset about the kissing. Bobby is like, you're just jealous of our love. You're
Bobby
Yeah.
jealous
gets
that
so
we,
sassy.
They've probably
Bobby.
kissed more times in 2 days than they
Mhm.
ever have.
Yeah.
In
And this is,
fact, Bobby's never seen them kiss.
and then one of my favorite lines from Peggy is, "Your father and I have done things that you can't even imagine."
And Hank just like crawls into his shell. He's like, Peggy.
Yeah, Hank can't take this, but
Yeah.
yeah, Peggy is getting very like offended and jealous of he and Marie here. It's
Yeah.
so
But
funny.
also like competitive, like
Yeah.
classic
She's
Peggy.
like, fuck nah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well, we do know that Hank and Peggy have had sex at least 3 times.
we've seen him. Yeah,
Because Bobby, and then there have been at least 2 times on the show
yeah.
where
She
Hank
gets
has
her hair
gotten laid.
she gets her hair messed up
Yeah.
a time or two.
Ooh la
Um,
la.
we got over to a really nice scene of two characters that we don't see interacting one on one very often.
This might be the first time that we've had a Luann and Connie one-on-one scene.
Connie has invited Luann over under the guise to teach her algebra.
So
And Luann
funny.
is like, Luann's like, thanks for inviting me over to help you with your algebra. And Connie's like, I don't need you to help me with my algebra. And Luann's like, thank God.
I love that she's still missing all of her hair, but it's grown back a little bit.
Yeah.
She's got a little bit of hair now.
That's
Yeah.
nice. It's nice that they did that because she
Connie's
lost
like,
all of her hair.
I know, because the store exploded.
Yeah.
mhm.
Look
uh,
at her, dude.
Connie is like, well,
My
Bobby
wife.
has, she's on it. Um, Connie is like, well, Bobby has a girlfriend. And Luann is like, Bobby has a girlfriend and I
And
know
I
it.
know it.
I loved that. Um, yeah, Connie's like, it's made me realize that, I have feelings for Buckley. And Luann is like, if it's right, it'll
For
happen.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Buckley's
Uh,
dead, Chris.
yes,
He's
sorry.
getting at.
I had Buckley written. I have CB in front of my face. Yeah, Luann is like, if it's right, it'll happen, and if it's not right, then it won't happen. And she's like, and that's why Buckley got blown up.
Yeah,
It's just
that's exactly why. My
obviously,
favorite thing about Luann is like the story doesn't have to revolve her around her at all, and she can still find a way to be the funniest one in the
Mhm.
episode.
mhm,
It's
yeah,
sound logic.
Sound logic. That is
it's
why
very
he blew
good.
up.
Next scene is Peggy and Hank at the store. Peggy wants to hold hands. Hank doesn't want to. He's gonna pick up some stuff to make his hands full. And Peggy's like, come on. The second that they hold hands, we see an old guy behind them. He's like, get a room, you two.
Yeah, that's a really
Really.
funny like recurring gag in this
Mhm.
episode.
I thought it was funny that they were at the store and he's like, I have an outdoor couch. What do you recommend from keeping squirrels getting into it? Um, Very good. Back over in the alley, we get a nice little music montage, kind of a
Oh yeah,
bluesy thing of the guys.
some blues, little blues montage.
The
Oh, was there
Blues River
blues?
There
Column,
was there was
little
fucking
blues rock.
guitar solo action going on
The
while
guys
they're
bring out
souping
the
up the
couch.
couch.
They bring out the couch and they're all sitting on it. And in comes Con. And Con is like, what are you guys doing with my old couch? And the guys are like, we're not falling for it. This isn't your couch, Con. And Con is like, no, a neighborhood cat got in the house and pissed on it. So we were gonna we were gonna dump it on Dale's lawn, but Min hurt her leg, so we left it here. And they're
She
like, you
she cut her leg on a tack or something.
Yeah.
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 They're like, we don't believe you. You just want the couch back. And Khan's like, I have some old boxer shorts if you need a cozy. And then just laughs his way back home, which I loved of him
Classic.
just being like, ha 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 ha.
Doesn't
You know,
phase them at all though.
no, doesn't
They're
phase
just
them,
happy to
doesn't
have the
phase
couch.
Khan. Um, we're over at the house, and Marie comes over to get Bobby. Hank answers the door and asks, Marie, how old are you? She's like 14. So we get that Marie is older. She's older than Bobby by 2 years.
Yeah. Problematic age gap alert.
She comes to get Bobby. They leave. Hank comes back inside and tells Peggy that, Marie is 14 and this Peggy is just a gas. She's like, that means whenever she was 3, Bobby was 1. I'm so disgusted. Very funny. Um, the last scene in this act was very good. They're at like a little basement party, like a
Yeah,
cool
this was
kid,
rough.
cool kid
Yeah.
This
house
was
party.
hard to watch.
This is where the cringe becomes really real with Bobby. But they're like down in a basement. There's black lights. There's cool posters. There's some snacks.
Sick party, honestly.
Sick
Punch.
party. Bobby
Yeah.
is like, if hey, is this a makeout party? Because I'm ready for it.
Do you think
Which
they
I
were
just
listening to the
loved.
Goo Goo Dolls at all?
They were probably getting gooey in that basement.
With the
Um,
vibe.
Bobby had a little goo.
Goo. Well, Bobby is going to see Marie. Bobby's going to see Marie dancing with some other guys, and he's going to flip the fuck out.
If the
He,
lady doesn't want to dance, then
she
she
doesn't
doesn't
want
have
to.
to dance.
She's like, Bobby, get out of here. And then he cuts the music, and she's like, Bobby, come on. Like, oh my God, this scene was so
Yeah.
rough.
So painful. I feel like
Excellent.
everybo's witnessed something like
I think
this.
I've kind of done
Yeah,
this.
Go on.
to Marette.
Yeah, to Marette. What? Marette, why were you dancing with all those guys?
You're only supposed to dance with me and sometimes your
Just immediately
girlfriends,
crying. Yeah,
but
the
mostly
vocal
me.
delivery was excellent for Bobby in
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
scene.
Well, this is our little breakup scene here. Marie is like, Bobby, those were just my friends. I'm just having fun, whatever. And Bobby's like, no, you're only supposed to dance with me. And he was like, we kissed. And Maria's like, yeah, it was like wasn't a big deal. And Bobby was like, that's the most important thing that's
That's
ever happened to
literally
me.
the most important thing that has happened in my entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marie calls the kiss a mistake as well, which I'm sure that could be a little heartbreaking for Bob.
Yeah.
And then Bobby tries to recover it with the "What are you talking about?" at the end.
While he's crying.
Yeah.
Yes,
And also still
he's
saying,
the one
who
that
are all those guys?
so
Yeah.
bad,
Well, the sad what are you talking about kind of broke my heart a little bit.
so cringy. He's
But, like,
alone under the street
uh,
lamp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Not a
getting
good-
red pilled a little bit.
Yeah.
He might be becoming an incel,
Uh-huh.
to
Nephews,
use modern colloquialisms.
don't be acting like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're hormonal and you've like never gotten attention from a girl before, and this
Mhm.
fucking succubus comes in and
Babe,
plays
Sarah
with your
Michelle
heart.
Gellar.
It sounds like maybe Bobby did not have great examples of how to interact with women.
Definitely not.
Wait, you're saying Hank isn't a good example of how to interact with women?
Hot
Well,
take.
just the like you're only supposed to like talk and hang out with me now.
Yeah.
It's such a classic like younger dude who's like very insecure
And
thing.
sometimes older
Yes.
dudes. Some dudes don't even grow out of that
Some people
shit.
don't grow out of that.
Yeah.
Case in point, Marette is actually chained to this chair right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. It has a tracker on
That's
it.
a joke, nephews. She's here by her own free will. She can leave at any time she wants.
It's not a chain,
Don't
it's
try
a
it.
rope.
It's a love rope.
Yeah, but
It's for my
that's
own good.
Yeah.
Kendall is for her own good. That is the end of Act 2 of just Bobby coming unglued. And what are you talking about? Who are those guys? So sad, so cringy.
Yeah.
We cut to the house, and we hear Bobby crying before he enters the house. And he comes in and he's in tears. And Hank is like, "What's wrong? Did somebody push you off your bike?" And he's like,
No,
"Marie,
he's a
bro."
grown up now.
Marie broke up with me, and Peggy is immediately going to rub it in Bobby's face so
I
hard.
loved this just like visually because Peggy like puts down, she's like knitting or something or reading. She
Mhm.
like puts it down and gets up, and you think, or at least I thought, like, oh, she's gonna get up and like console him. And she's like, doesn't
She's
feel
gonna
very
glow.
good.
Doesn't feel good, does it? I guess your love wasn't as strong as your father
And Bobby
and
like,
I's.
yeah.
Did we address earlier that when Peggy saw her or Hank saw her and described her,
Peggy was like, I
No,
know
that's
she looks.
later. That's
Okay,
later
okay,
on. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's when they
he
go to the
sees her.
restaurant.
okay,
Yeah,
okay,
he's
okay,
that's
okay.
gonna happen a little later in
Yeah,
this act.
okay.
I love that one. But yeah, Peggy just immediately rubs Bobby's nose in it, which is just so Peggy. I love that.
Excellent. She won.
Um, and then
Perfect.
we cut to the alley. Bobby is crying on the couch, and he's like, "I kissed Marie on this couch," and the guys are like,
She immediately like, whoa, on the couch.
"Yeah, on the couch." The guys are like, "Hank, we need to talk about this. It's not what the couch is for. You're supposed to bring it to a vote if you want family to sit on the
Yeah.
couch."
And then
Um,
again, Hank like comes down, you think he's about to console Bobby, and he's like, but you can't be doing that on the couch,
the
man.
couch is a happy place. Just
Yeah.
Yeah.
be happy, Bobby. And he runs off and squealing tears. Very
Yeah.
cute. Back inside of the house, Bobby is really going through it, just crying face down on the floor, listening to some sad Hank Williams. There's a tear
There's
in
a
my beer.
tear in my beer is
There's a
the
tear
name
in
of
my
the
beer.
song.
hmm
Excellent.
Yeah.
Hank Williams, senior, not junior or number three, because fuck both of them.
There's three of them?
There's three Hank Williams. There's Hank Williams Jr., and Hank Williams the third.
And they're all musicians?
Mm-hmm.
No, the third is actually an accountant.
Oh. Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are three of them. They get less talented and famous the farther you get away
Which is generally
from the
how it
OG.
goes. Yeah.
hmm
I
But
do love that Hank is like, well, at least like it seems like his taste in music is improving.
yeah, I loved that from Hank. Lady Bird tries to console Bobby, and they're like, "Not now." And then yeah, he's still crying on the floor by the time the
Yeah,
evening
with
is.
his shirt off, Peggy just puts a
Mhm.
towel over him.
It's a
Yeah.
blanket.
It looked like a towel. It was small.
Um,
Maybe it was a blanket. Maybe it was his
he's
baby blanket.
he's wearing blue jeans, which is interesting because he's normally wearing shorts, and
That's what you
typically
do when you're sad. You
I
wear
thought it would have
pants.
been funnier if we saw him in his tidy whities, which is like a classic Bobby look to be in his tidy
Yeah.
whities. Um, but yeah, just crying to Hank Williams, and then it's time
We've
to go
all
out.
been there.
Time to go to dinner. Um, they're in the car. They're trying to make Bobby feel better. Hank is like, you're on a date with your parents, Bobby, and we know how much you like to date people older than you.
It's really
That
good.
is like a that when you're in that position as the kid, that's a fucking
hmm
nightmare.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, your parents trying to cheer you up.
Like
They're dragging you
dragging
out of the
you and
house.
like yeah.
Everything about this
Mhm.
scenario is a nightmare because they go
Yeah.
out, they go to the
Yeah.
steakhouse, and who's fucking sitting next to them?
It's
But
Marie.
Marie. And
They're
that's
at
when we get the line from Peggy.
Yes, yes. She sees me and says, "Oh, I see what's going on here. She looks exactly
She
like
looks
me."
just like you. So fucking funny, dude.
So good.
Note on this steakhouse. This isn't the first time we've been here, right, Chris?
We have been here before.
I
Yes, we were here.
recognized the outfits
We were
from
here
our
in
lowest ranked episode of season 2.
season 2, episode 9, "The Company Man," which has Burt Reynolds in it for just a little bit. He plays
Yeah.
Statherton. Um, yeah, and then Peggy also has an outfit like this that was apparently a bridesmaid's dress.
Yeah, Peggy
And that-
accidentally
Oh my
in the
God.
old episode, she accidentally shows up to the restaurant dressed exactly like all of the waiters.
yes,
But
it's
yeah, they're
very
wearing
funny.
like red, white, and blue, and they have the cowboy hats with the strings.
Right.
We've all been to a steakhouse in Texas or Oklahoma.
hmm
Definitely peanut shells
Yeah,
on the
peanuts
floor
fucking
type of vibe.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The waitress comes by. Well, I think Bobby's like, "Can we go, Dad? Like, can we go?" And Hank is like,
Yeah.
you don't want to see her. Like you don't want to leave here because dating is about winning and losing. Like who wins and loses. Just great advice from Hank here.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, relationships are all about keeping score and being even, nephews. Write that down. Uh, the waitress, the waitress is gonna come up and be like, "Do you guys want to do our 72-ounce steak challenge? Finish it in an hour and it's free." And they're like, "No, thank you." And Bobby is like, "I'm gonna do it." Bobby decides to take it on, and he wants it rare.
It's excellent in for so many ways. Like he's
Mhm.
making a big show of it, and then also the fact that like she's a vegetarian, he like changed
Yeah,
for her, and he's like, no, I'm gonna fucking down this
we're
72 ounce
going back
steak.
to it.
Yeah,
hmm
but I
And
also I can
make it
relate to this
bloody.
scene as well because I have done this before. I
Whoa, a
have
big
it was
steak
it was
challenge.
a 64 ounce steak.
See?
Was it at the
Yeah.
Big Texan in Amarillo?
It was not in Amarillo. It was in Lawton, Oklahoma.
Mm,
And my photo was taken and it was put up on the wall. And I did throw
nice.
up in a bush
I didn't think it's
afterwards.
Spoilers.
possible to do that and not throw up at some
Yeah,
point.
I had to eat a 64-ounce steak and two sides and a roll. And for my
Sheesh.
sides, I chose mashed potatoes and French fries.
Wow, double potato.
Nephews, for reference, I used to weigh 280 pounds.
For any of the audio listeners who aren't watching us, come over to YouTube and watch Moret's face get the ick during that sentence
Yes.
of
She's
practice.
currently filing for divorce, I think. Where'd
I
you get
saw it.
those
I was like,
papers? Did you have those ready? What the fuck?
sign them, Brad. I'm here to witness.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh,
yeah.
that's why you're on the show. That's why you invited her on. Yeah.
This is a trap. Yeah,
Yeah, I did do this and I did succeed. So
Bobby
That's
is going
really
to
fair.
Bobby's going to tuck into this steak challenge. We get a fun montage here of Bobby going through it. Some funny lines. Peggy is like, "Come on, Bobby, use all of your teeth." Um,
the
and
crowd fucking loves it.
the crowd is into it. Everyone's
Her
cheering,
parents love
including
it.
including
Yeah.
Marie's parents. Yes.
Yeah.
It looks like halfway through that Bobby's given up, but he just unbuttons his pants and gives right back to it. Um,
This is
and
so
yeah,
Texas. All of
he
all of this.
he pulls it off, and oh, halfway through, Maria's like, "You're just making a fool of yourself, Bobby. You can't do this." Bobby's like, "Ugh," he gets some more determined. Um,
Yeah.
I loved the way this episode ended, but Bobby finishes the steak challenge, and Maria's like, "Can we go?" And then her parents are like, "Yeah,
They're
standing on
like, I think her dad's
cheering."
like standing on a chair,
Yeah.
fucking
Mm-hmm.
applauding. I loved the shot of him tossing the fork up in the air
Yes,
and catching it and like getting that last bite.
getting the last piece. Peggy and Hank are going to do a celebratory smooch, um, which
Oh,
gets a
yeah.
which gets a surprise Chuck Mangione for the episode, who's eating, and he's like, "Hey guys, I'm eating here."
Yeah.
Uh,
Is he going to be on the show more often this season?
I
Because this is
think
two
so.
episodes in a row with Chuck Mangione.
Yeah, I didn't check
That's
his
great.
credits for how many eps he's on, but yeah, the Hills are headed back to the house, and we get a nice wah from Hank as he realizes that the couch is gone.
Couch is gone.
The couch is gone. The guys are really upset. Dale didn't even get a chance to say goodbye. Very sad. And then we get some nice Connie and Bobby closure here. You know, Bobby gets out of the car and throws up, and Connie is like, "Oh man, Bobby, are you okay?" And he's like, "Me and Marie just broke up." And she's like, "Wow, you must have really liked her." And he's like, "No, I just ate 72 ounces of steak in 36 minutes," which like lights up Connie's face. Connie is
Yeah.
like so pleased to hear that, like, oh, Bobby really didn't like her that much, and that he just ate a bunch of steak, and
And
that's
that
why
he's
he's throwing up.
available now.
He's
Yeah.
available, and she invites him over. She's like, "Well, when you're done, do you want to come over and watch TV?" And then he barfs again, and she's like, "It doesn't have to be TV."
It could be something
Hey,
Oh,
else,
hey,
just
nephews.
walks away while he's
hey.
still barfing though.
Yeah. Well, you
Yeah,
gotta just let him finish it up, you know?
yeah. I loved this, the ending there, and that's where our credits roll. But we do get a post-credit scene.
We get a post credit. You
Post-credit. Are you ready?
remember the post credit? It's another phone gag.
Another
Right?
I
phone
do.
gag.
I do.
Yeah.
Yep, it's another phone gag. We end on a phone gag. It's Bill on the phone with Dale. Bill is consoling Dale over the loss of the couch, and as we slowly zoom out, we see that Bill is the one who
He
took the
has the
couch, and the couch is inside Bill's very depressing living room.
With dead plants everywhere.
I feel like
Dead,
he probably just didn't have a couch before
Yeah.
this.
dead plants and the wire cable coffee table.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, very funny.
But now he's got a couch.
Mhm. I did want to call out two other minor guest stars in this episode. We did get some more Joanna Gleason. She's been on
Uh-huh.
many times before, very highly decorated and accomplished actress. I think she plays Marie's mom. And then Jim Cummings is also in this episode. I think he plays the old man in the store.
Ah,
I'm gonna
But
come.
yeah,
that is the voice of Winnie the Pooh,
Oh.
Jim Cummings, right?
yep. And
Yeah.
basically everybody else on Disney.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, super cool, just minor in there, but they've voiced a bunch of other minor characters on this show before. I just wanted to call them out at the end. But that's the sode.
Excellent. Should we step immediately post tense into the alley,
We
brothers
shall.
and
We shall.
sisters?
I'm a gonna buy you a drink.
Brett, this is the segment of the show where we give the episode a ranking out of 6 Alamo beers, as you know.
I know.
How are we feeling about the alley slash this episode today? Do you want to
This
kick
was-
us off as our guest, or would you prefer to hear how we're leaning
You
on
guys
this
go first.
episode? Chris, I'm going to defer to you over there, bud.
Sounds good. I think I'm gonna call this one a solid 5.
It's a 5-er.
It's got really good rewatchability. I remember this one being rerun quite a lot, and I didn't realize this was the couch episode until I saw the couch. And whenever I saw the couch, I was like, "Oh, this is the couch episode."
Yeah.
Um,
I this episode definitely stood out to me a lot too. I remember it.
Rewatchability
No,
is
because
really
of the Marie
high.
stuff.
Yeah, it was the two storylines were so straightforward. It was very nice.
But
It
they
felt.
tied together and like just enough.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think I'm close to being right there with you, Chris, but I think that I am actually gonna go with a 5.5 on this.
Ooh,
And it
going
would
up.
be a 6 if it wasn't for Bobby's kind of whole
So
attitude,
cringy.
you know, like that took it down a half
He's
point for
entitled.
me just because of the, but it's still like funny and it's relatable. No, it's a 6.
There wasn't resolution to it though.
Yeah, there was. He ate the steak.
He ate the steak, but it was because he was like, "Oh, I don't need you." It wasn't because he was like, I understand how to interact with somebody that I'm pursuing.
Yeah, but you can't expect that from a
He did.
12-year-old boy, right?
But
He
it
didn't
would've-
learn a good lesson. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll
I
give
agree.
it-
We don't need a lesson, and we also we also get the kind of the
Jesus.
setup of him and Connie.
Mm-hmm.
That is the
was
that's
nice.
the real resolution, and I think that was such an important little note to put into the episode, just to have the like, oh, Connie now realizes that she's into Bobby,
Mhm.
because as we
Mhm.
know, like they end up becoming romantically entangled in the
Mhm.
future. So that's just kind of setting up the season with an excellent guest star in Buffy the
Mhm.
Flippin' Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah.
Great.
And we had the hilarious shit of Peggy being competitive with Bobby. Like
I love
that
that.
was huge. All of the couch stuff was hilarious. The phone gags were hilarious. It's a 6 for me. I'm doing a 6 because my wife's on the episode and I want to impress
Oh, there we
her.
go.
Aw.
What do you want to give it,
You gotta
Marrett?
make up for your steak story.
And if you don't agree with me, we're in a fight.
Yeah, you really gotta overcompensate now that I try to visualize that. I think I'll also give it a 5.
Oh,
Nice.
so you don't agree with me.
I do love Peggy in it just because that's so many moms
Yeah.
of boys.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that like there had been some like somebody like giving Bobby advice in some way. Of,
Yeah.
like, hey man, just like chill the fuck out a little bit.
Yeah, somebody actually giving him good advice. Like if Bill tried to give him advice, that would have been hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, that wouldn't have been a hey, chill the fuck out a little bit.
No, but like I don't
Because
know.
Bill's a sad, sad man.
Maybe like
Uh,
Bobby
Yeah.
going to somebody to try or like
Yeah, it'd be funny if Bobby went to like John Redcorn or
yeah,
something.
yeah.
Yeah, or
that would be
Boomhauer.
great.
Yeah.
Boomhauer. Yeah.
But other than that, I just like very
Okay.
Classic
Yeah.
Bill's
No,
like
it's
the-
fine.
what
Yeah.
are you talking about?
Yeah. No. What are
I
you
do-
talking about? Yeah.
What are
that
you
was great.
talking? Who are those guys? I did like also how Boomhauer low-key mentioned that he got a toothbrush put up his butt.
Yeah, that was weird.
Really flew under the
I
radar.
didn't catch it.
Yeah, I didn't catch that really either,
Mm.
but
Anytime
all
Boomhauer
right.
speaks, I'm like,
he's just taking notes. Okay, I'm into that.
Yeah.
6 from me. I guess I liked it a little more, but I mean, it's okay that you guys fucking hated this episode. Do you guys want to crown our kings?
let's do it.
Wrap it
Let's
up
crown 'em.
here?
God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, God dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby, 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 dang it, Bobby.
As you know at this point, nephews, this is the segment of the show where we wrap it up by crowning a king of the hill, the king of the episode, the MVP, who stood out the most in your mind. We don't like to give it any forethought. We like to decide in the moment. Does anybody have one popping into their brains right now?
I
Who
have
stands
mine.
supreme?
I have mine. I think I would like to defer to our guest if she has hers.
Yes. Guest.
I'm
Who-
gonna say Peggy.
I like that choice.
Yes.
I like Peggy as
Yeah.
a king. That
Yeah.
is a
I
good queen to have.
I am also crowning Peggy.
Oh shit! Double Peggy. All right. Do I fall in line with you two, or do I crown my king as the telephone?
Oh,
I'm gonna go with the telephone
the telephone wire.
because there were so many phone-based gags in this
Mhm.
episode.
Say phone-based gag again.
Phone-based gags is
Gag
my
me with
hill
a
king
phone.
for the episode.
Based.
Yeah,
Nice.
and it is based, and I am
Landline.
gagging.
Landline.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the telephone.
Yeah. Very
Just
nice.
the idea of
Just the
speaking on the
concept
phone.
of a phone.
That's my hill king. for
Something
the
people don't do
episode.
as much anymore.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty foreign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it stands out. And
I-
literally every joke in this episode was based around someone talking on the phone, pretty much.
Yeah. I liked it. And it did recall.
Wait, no, I'm not going with phones. I'm going with
No, you really leaned into that.
the couch.
It's
The
too late.
couch.
It's too late.
No, I'm sticking with phones.
Oh, the couch would have been good, man. That's like
Fuck me,
something
dude.
Shit, dude. That's something I
You know
would
what?
have
I'm
picked.
gonna change mine to the
No!
There you go. You're allowed.
No! Oh, okay. Yeah, we have to allow it because you're the guest. All right.
The guest is
All right.
We're really
So
breaking
Marrett
up here at the
stole
end.
my hill king and didn't agree with me, and I think we're gonna have to go to marriage counseling now. But
He's gonna talk
Mhm.
to me about this later.
yeah, I'm gonna unchain her from the chair.
Get in the kennel, Marrett.
These are all jokes, nephews.
Yes, jokes, yokes.
Okay. All
Marrett,
right.
blink twice if it's a joke.
That'll
Audio
do it.
listeners, come over and see if she blinked.
Yeah, come and see if she blinked. That'll do it for the Hill King segment. That'll do it for this episode of
Yeah.
this show. Thanks for joining us, Marrett. How do
Thanks for
you feel
joining
now
us,
that you've
Marrett.
been
Thank
on
you
an
for
episode of
having
this show?
me. Normal? This was fun.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
This was fun.
Very nice.
Wow.
Different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Marrett will bring us hella views and hella ratings,
Mhm.
right?
I'm excited to see. I'm going down the episode list and being like, what episode is going to work for Rachel?
Oh, yeah, I haven't invited her on the show.
The
No.
Rachel sode. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see about that.
I'm excited for that.
No, yeah. Tune back in when Chris's wife comes on the show eventually.
If she
too.
exists, we'll
I
see.
Yeah, we don't know if she's real or not.
True. We don't.
She might
I
be
don't.
on a cereal box.
If she was on a cereal box, she would be on like grape nuts or like some fucking raisin bran.
What, dude?
All right, is this you testing to see if she's listening to the episodes?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm gonna send her
Yes.
that clip.
Clip it, send it to her. Well, tune in next week. Next week is episode 3, Peggy's Headache. This is a very funny one.
I don't remember this one.
It's a John Redcorny.
Oh, I
Mm.
love
Yeah.
that. I love a John
Mhm.
Redcorn episode. Is
Me
this the one
too.
where Peggy finds out that John Redcorn and Nancy are having an affair?
They
John
are?
Redcorn and Nancy are having
Yeah.
an affair.
Tune back in. Tune back in
Tune in.
next episode. Spoiler
Yeah.
alert, nephews.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's exciting. And we will be
Mhm.
here next week for that. In the meantime, if you are
Mhm.
listening on Spotify or Apple, come on over to YouTube to see how real my wife is.
Mhm. See Marette get the ick whenever Brad told his steak story.
Yeah, you can see that firsthand. And if you are watching on YouTube, go ahead, like and subscribe, all that fucking nonsense. Turn on
Mhm.
notifications. Write a comment. Tell us who
Mhm.
your Hill King was. Tell us what you think of my wife.
Or you could not.
Yeah.
That's
Don't
my other
comment.
option. I mean,
Yeah,
People on the
comment
internet-
about people love to comment about women on the internet.
comment about how qualified you think I am to be here.
Yeah.
and get in an argument about it.
Exactly. And follow us on social media at Hill Kings Pod. Send us memes.
Send us
We love
memes.
memes. And we will catch you next time for
Mhm.
another episode.
Hill Kings podcast.
There it
Pardon
is.
me. Pardon me. Right in your headphones.
We're gonna have to start the whole episode over now, man.
Carnival there, it'll fix that.
Fuck.
Fix it in
Carnivore
post.
guy will fix that. Carnivore guy will fix that.
Was that Jordan Peterson?
It was.
Is that Dr. Jordan Balthazar Peterson?